Hey everybody, welcome back to the Calibrate Tools and DIY channel. Today we're going to learn how to use a heat gun. So stick around and I'll see you right after this. Alright, so let's talk about heat guns. Heat guns can be used for all kinds of things, from stripping paint to removing adhesives, glue. If you're removing flooring and you got to peel it up, you can use a heat gun to help you peel up that old flooring, laminate flooring. In the wintertime, it's great for defrosting frozen pipes. Some people say, oh, well, I can use my hair dryer as a heat gun. Actually, you can. A heat gun and a hair dryer have very similar applications. If you want to peel off those stubborn stickers or labels on something, you can use a hair dryer for that. Some dried up candle wax you can get off with a hair dryer. But a heat gun is a little more intense, I would say. It has the ability to increase its heat to much higher temperature than a hair dryer to perform those more industrial, commercial tasks, even stuff around the house that require a little more power, a little more heat than a hair dryer can give you. So heat guns are good for a lot of things when it comes to renovation, home improvement, upholstery, if you got to take off that old wallpaper, things like that. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about what a heat gun is and the different components and parts of a heat gun. So this is a corded heat gun, but they do have cordless heat guns out there. All you gotta do is go online, check it out, they have them. Now, obviously this part of the heat gun is the handle, and this right here is a hanging hook, so you can actually hang it on something when you're done with it, or whatever. Some heat guns actually come with stands that you can stand them up in, and you can do whatever you're doing while the heat is being focused on your project. So they do have that as well. Now these right here are called the sidebars. You got one on this side and you got one on this side. This prevents the nozzle from touching a surface when you lay the heat gun down, okay? So it keeps the nozzle off of the surface. And this part right here is the heat shield. Now this cord doesn't come attached to the gun. You actually have to attach it yourself. So it comes like this, the heat gun being independent of it, and it has a socket in there, and you just plug the cord into it like this. You make sure everything's lined up correctly. You want to make sure that this portion is facing toward the nozzle, okay? And then you just plug it in like that. You should hear a click when you push it in. Well, it's a slight click, but you'll hear it. And this portion here is the clicking part. All right, guys, so let's talk about the control panel here. That's what we really want to know about, right? So you have 4 buttons here. This first button here is the power button. This turns it on and off. So if I press it, hold it, turns it on. Press it, hold it, turns it off. Now this right here is called the mode selector. It changes the fan speed because a heat gun is simply made up of a heating element that gets hot with the electricity coming through it and a fan to blow that heat that's generated inside the heating element out the nozzle, okay? And that's the sound you hear. It's the fan going and the heating element heating up at the same time. And the fan just blows that hot air out. Kind of like a blow dryer, hair dryer. So this changes the fan speed. So let's turn it on. And we could change the fan speed. Press that. See, it slows down. Speeds up. Speeds up. And if you notice here, this is the indicator. You see those blocks appearing as you increase the speed? All the way back to 1. Max speed right there. Okay, so that changes the fan speed. It has a fan type icon there. And you also have that icon on the screen there, the LCD screen, okay? And the temperature appears right here on the LCD screen. Now these 2 buttons here allow you to increase or decrease the temperature. So we have it at 660. We can turn the temperature down. Pretty simple. And you can turn it back up. You can turn it up, and this gun can take you all the way up to 1300 degrees Fahrenheit in heat, okay? And once again, you have the indicator flashing, the blocks right here, as you decrease or increase your temperature. And there's your little thermometer, that's a temperature icon. So that's the control panel. Now the heat gun also has something called a cool down mode. So you'll turn it on, and then when you get ready to turn it off, you just press the power button once. Now it's entered cool down mode. And that just means it's gonna run for about 3 minutes at maximum airflow. And those flashing bars at the bottom just indicates that it's in cool down mode. If you don't want it to be in cool down mode, just press and hold to turn it off. All right, guys, so another good thing about the heat gun is that it comes with 4 attachments. This one right here that looks like a spade or a shovel is actually a glass protector. It actually deflects heat away from glass or brittle or fragile areas. So when you're using the heat gun, it actually deflects the heat back away from it. So the heat doesn't crack the glass or it doesn't get too hot to damage a brittle area or surface. This one right here that has a long mouth is actually great for removing paint. You know, you can cover a larger surface area with this because of the wider mouth. So the heat comes out more in a dispersed pattern that way, and it allows you to cover a wider surface area. This guy right here, can you guess what this is? Well, it's made like this because it's meant to surround tubular or circular objects, like a pipe or something like that. It allows the heat to be dispersed more evenly over the pipe, so you're not just hitting one side. When the heat comes out of here, it surrounds the pipe because it has this shield that channels the heat around the pipe. So it's great for that. So if you need to thaw out some pipes, this is a great attachment to use. And I guess it would fit around most pipes, not large pipes, of course, but it's definitely great for smaller pipes. So if you need to soften up some pipe in order to bend it, this is great for that too. You can apply the heat to the pipe so it'll be more easier to bend. If you're a plumber, that'll be a great use to you. If you need to do some heat shrinking on some insulated tubes, this is also great for that. And this guy right here with the more tapered end, it focuses the heat more because it's tapered, right? And it's great for getting into crevices and corners and tight spaces. And it's also great to have a scraper of some sort, whether it's a 5-in-1 scraper or any kind of scraper to help you peel up the material in conjunction with this while you're using this, okay? It's a great combination to get all that stuff off. So I have it at about 720 degrees Fahrenheit here. So what I'll do sometimes is I'll take the nozzle of the gun and I'll make a few passes over the area before I start peeling. That loosens up the bonds, okay, to make it easier to peel off. All right, guys, remember, when using a heat gun, always keep it in constant motion. You don't want to keep it in one place, especially if you don't know what's behind the material that you're using the heat gun on. It could be something flammable behind it, okay? So you always want to keep it moving all the time. Never use a heat gun or any tool powered by electricity for that matter around flammable liquids, gases, or any kind of flammable material. Don't touch the nozzle until the heat is cooled, and also don't substitute it as a hair dryer. You might regret it. And when you get one, just make sure you read all the safety precautions in the instruction manual. Here I am using a heat gun to dry out some wet particle board that I left outside. It seemed to work pretty well, but it didn't get the swelling and bowing out of the particle board because when particle board gets wet, it starts to swell and it warps the board or whatever it's made of. So be careful. Never leave your particle board in the rain. But the board, which are desktops, are still flexible, and I think I can still use them to put on the desks. All right, guys, what do you think about heat guns? These things are pretty handy, especially if you need to scrape off a lot of adhesives, old glue, wallpaper. As you saw in the video, vehicle wrap. It just pretty much does it all when it comes to removing stuff. So if you like the video, hit the like and subscribe button. Don't forget to go to Calibrate.com, subscribe to the email list to get some home improvement tips and tricks. And also, guys, don't forget to pick up some products as well while you're over there. See you next time.